Hey, what's everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the training. So if you own a Facebook group and you own the type of business that needs to book sales calls to grow your business, to get clients, and you've been kind of struggling, you've had a tough time booking enough calls to consistently and predictably grow your business. Well, I've got something in store for you today. Over the next 30 minutes to an hour, I'm going to be walking you through the 6 proven methods that I use to book 8 to 10 sales calls every single week using my Facebook group. And my goal with this training is to give you some strategies that you can start implementing today inside of your Facebook group so that you never have to start your week with an empty calendar ever again. So you're going to have 6 levers that you can pull at pretty much any time to just book sales calls when you need to. Okay. So the first thing that I want to do before we get started is, if you guys are joining live, then tell me where you're joining in from. We're going live on Facebook. We're going live in YouTube and LinkedIn. So let me know where you're joining from. Also, if you're joining us on Facebook, there is a link inside the description of the post that you're on right now. If you click on that link, I can actually see your name in the comment section in StreamYard. So click on that link if you're watching on Facebook so I can see who I'm actually talking to, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and let's start talking about what we're going to be talking about today. So if you're suffering from a lack of sales calls, you're definitely not alone with that. This is one of the most common problems that I see online experts face. If you're not booking enough calls, it's going to be extremely difficult to grow your business, if not impossible. And that's a wide variety of reasons why that is, because if you're not booking enough sales calls, you're probably, first of all, having to take all the sales calls yourself. So you're kind of overstressed and taking all the sales calls because you can't sustain a closer. And so if you're taking a lot of those sales calls, hopefully you're good at sales, but maybe you're not good at sales and you're not getting enough practice in the reps in place to actually help you to get better at sales. And then since you're only kind of booking only a handful of calls, you can start feeling a little bit desperate because every call feels like it has to close or you're not going to grow your business. And really your customers can kind of sense that and they're going to be turned off by that. And as a result, you're not getting enough clients, and that's creating even more desperation, and it's crushing your confidence, and it's just a vicious cycle. So this is going to continue until you fix your appointments problem. Okay. So luckily, it's absolutely possible to do that. When you implement some of the strategies we're going to be talking about today, you'll be able to do that on demand, essentially. So after this training, you're going to understand all the levers that you have at your in your hands that you can actually pull to start getting appointments when you need them. Okay. So first of all, who is this for? So my goal with this training is to help people that are watching this either live or on the replay that own a Facebook group, first of all, and you're not booking enough calls from that Facebook yet. So whether you're just starting out and you're launching a brand new Facebook group from scratch and you want to set it up the right way from the start so that you can start growing your business and getting new clients right from the get-go, or maybe you're in growth mode. Maybe you've got a Facebook group and it's under 1,000 members, and right now you're focusing on growing the group. But as you grow the group, you want to set it up in a way that you can actually book appointments and get clients from it, so you can grow your business simultaneously as you grow your group. And then for those of you that are over 1,000 members and you're in monetization mode, you're in a great position to start filling your calendar every single week with qualified, easy to close sales calls. And we're going to show you how to do that today. So it doesn't really matter what phase your Facebook group is in. This training is going to help you to start to set up your Facebook group and to implement some systems that can help you to book appointments on demand. So first thing I want to do is I want to know where you guys are at with your Facebook group. Drop a comment below if you are in launch mode. You're just getting started with your Facebook group, or you're about to get started with the Facebook group and you're kind of in launch mode. Drop launch in the comments below. And if you're somebody who has a Facebook group, you've had it for a while, but you're still under 1,000 members, so you're kind of in growth mode. You're trying to grow the group. If you're in growth mode, drop growth below. Let me see how many of you guys are in growth mode. And then if the rest of you guys that have had a Facebook group for a while, you're over 1,000 members and you're kind of in that position where now you need to start making some money from your group. If you're in monetization mode, drop monetization in the comments below. Let me know where everybody's at so I can kind of get a gauge on where everybody in our group is with their Facebook groups. Okay. All right. Thank y'all for answering that. Keep on dropping those if you got them. Okay. All right. So let's dig in, and I'm going to share my screen here. Let me know if you guys can see it. Drop a 1 if you can see my screen right now. I'm going to take a little sip of water. All right, cool. I got 1. All right, looks like you guys can see it. So let's walk through the 6 proven methods that I use to consistently book 8 to 10 sales calls from my Facebook group every single week. Okay. So here's today's agenda. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the number one reason that most Facebook group owners are not booking enough sales calls on a consistent basis. Then we're going to talk about how to convert brand new members, the people that are just joining your group, into easy to close sales calls day 1 of joining your group. And then we're going to talk about also how to start converting your old members into book calls. And we're going to do that in a couple of different ways. First of all, we're going to show you how to turn live stream viewers and engagement into booked calls on your calendar. And then finally, we're going to talk about the 2 different types of posts that you can book calls with fast when you're staring at an empty calendar. So these are like things that you can post instantly and start getting booked calls on your calendar pretty quickly. Okay. So now if you're the type of person that wants to get results faster and you want the exact roadmap on how to start making 10K, 20K, or even 50K plus from your Facebook group, and you want to do that fast, type the word audit in the comment section below. And myself or somebody from my team will actually reach out. We can book a call with you. We can book one of our group audit calls. And on this call, what we do is we basically run your group through our 5-point monetization checklist. And we can help you find the bottlenecks and then the quick win opportunities so that we can start making you money with your Facebook group as quickly as possible. So if you're interested in one of those calls, drop the word comment the word audit below, and we'll reach out to you and book a call with you and kind of go through your group and see where your bottlenecks are and your quick win opportunities are. All right. So if you guys are new here and you haven't met me before, my name is Ron Medlin. So you're probably wondering, who is this dude and why should you listen to me? Well, my name is Ron Medlin, and I've been building 6-figure businesses since 2010. I've had multiple different 6-figure agencies since that time. And basically every single time they've gone away for certain reasons, but I've been able to build them back even faster the next time. So I started my first agency in 2010. And after about 11 months, Google changed their algorithm. Basically, I lost 90% of my clients from that algorithm change because they all lost their rankings. And so I had to, basically face the music, talk to all those people, apologize, and a lot of them left. So then I actually wanted to learn a little bit more about marketing. So I became a HubSpot value-added reseller, and I partnered with another HubSpot agency, and we scaled that to another mid 6 figures in about 10 months. And then after we kind of partnered up, we had an ugly partnership, and it just turned sour, and we actually broke that partnership. And then after that, I decided I wanted to take a little break from entrepreneurship. I wanted to get a job and just take a break. So I became the director of digital marketing for a PR firm here in Atlanta. And I actually got fired from that job the day before Thanksgiving. So that was not fun. So then I started my next agency, another mid 6-figure agency. And this time I was able to grow that to 6 figures within 7 months. Okay. So that agency was actually serving yoga studios. And obviously we know that all the gyms and yoga studios and fitness centers basically got crushed by COVID. So I lost that agency, had to start from scratch again. And that's where I just recently, over the past, 16 months or so, I've started a coaching business and a virtual assistant business, and I've grown that to $357,000 last year. So that's my story. During that time, I've been super blessed to be able to work with a bunch of different really high-level coaches, some 2 Comma Club award winners, if you're familiar with that award. People like Marley Jacks, Steve Larson, the guys from FlowChat, Chris Weiser, and Justin Ingram, all just to name a few. And so from these experiences, I've really learned a lot about how to grow coaching businesses, agencies from my previous experience. And I've taken all that experience and I've basically come up with my own frameworks to help online experts grow their businesses, grow 6-figure businesses using Facebook groups. Okay. So we're, you're on the call now because you probably own a Facebook group, and we're going to talk to you about the ways that I use to actually, the methods I use to keep my calendar full each week. So let's go ahead and jump in and let's talk about first, what's the number one reason that I believe that most Facebook group owners aren't booking enough sales calls, and really why their marketing isn't working in general. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Now, the biggest reason that most Facebook group owners, I believe, aren't making money is because they're not 100% clear on, first of all, who they help and how they help them. In other words, they're not really clear on their offer. And I honestly cannot tell you how many conversations that I have actually had where people just can't zero in on their offer and on something that they are super confident about. And they spend all this time in analysis by paralysis, and they're never able to really jump ahead and gain any real traction in their business because they're stuck, and because they can't find an offer that they can get behind. Okay. So that is a huge obstacle. And if you let it be an obstacle and you don't move forward, it's going to hold you back from making money for a really long time. And it's going to be really hard to grow a business if you're not confident and you're not clear on your offer, because you can't go all in on that offer with your marketing, with your sales messaging, all that stuff. So that's basically what your first step is going to be if you're not super clear on your offer. So I struggled with this for a very long time, and it really held me back from growing my business. And before I got clear on who I helped and how I helped them, my marketing was really incohesive and my leads were just confused on what I do. Nobody really knew what I did because my marketing was kind of all over the place. Okay. Also, because I wasn't clear on my offer, I really didn't know what content to create. And so I just started up posting all this fluff content to get something out there, to the market, not only, and really just wanted to post something so I wouldn't have a dead kind of group or a dead profile. And so not only did me posting all this fluff content confuse my customers or my potential customers, but also it did absolutely nothing for my business. It did not help me grow my business at all. And it probably would have been better if I just didn't post anything at all. Also, because my marketing was kind of all over the place, I couldn't consistently book sales calls, right? And then because I wasn't booking a sales calls, I got into like a scarcity mindset. And so I felt again like I had to close every single call that I got on, or I was never going to grow my business. And I just oozed desperation. And like I said, the people on my calls could really sense that. And so it was hard to close them. It was hard to turn them into clients because I didn't believe in my offer. I didn't believe in myself. And because I couldn't close those clients, I had an unstable income. I really was anxious and fearful. I honestly could remember several nights where I was just almost crying because I just didn't know what to do. And I thought I was going to have to get another job, which I absolutely hated the idea of. So again, it's just that vicious cycle. If you're not booking enough calls, it gets worse and worse. So we've got to go back to the beginning of the cycle, and we've got to fix that one thing, which is getting confidence in our offer, clarity and confidence around our offer. So that's basically the first step that we do with our clients. If you're going to be successful with your Facebook group and really with your business in general, you're gonna have to get crystal clear on your offer, and you're going to have to be confident in that offer enough so that you can go all in on that offer, and then you're really going to take off. Okay, so the first step you got to go through is bring in new clients is to help. When we bring in new clients, is to help them get super clear on who they help and how they help them, and help them increase the perceived value of their offer so that they can charge whatever they want, and then price is not really an issue anymore. Okay, so how do we do that? The first step that we do is we actually take them through a little exercise where they actually map out the steps that their product or service that they take their customers through in their product or service. So you can do this in a Google Doc. You can do it on a little slide deck like this. But just basically what you need to do is open up a page and then outline all of the little steps that your program takes people through to go from their current undesirable situation where they're over here, they're unhappy, they're unfulfilled, they're not getting what they want on the left here, all the way to their dream outcome on the right here. Okay, so this is when they've got everything they want, they're fully satisfied, they've reached their goals, and they're happy. Okay, so you can see there's a gap between these two places, and then your product or service now becomes the bridge that the way they bridge that gap to reach their desired outcome. Okay. So this is basically my product roadmap. So once you've mapped out your product roadmap, that does a couple of things for you. First of all, it makes it easy for your customers to kind of visualize how how your process works. And then they can actually logically see how the different steps in your process can fill the gap between where they are now and where they want to be. So if they can visually kind of see that, and it makes a lot of logical sense if you can explain it very well and you have a graphic in front of them. So, and for you, what this is going to do, it's going to help you to dial in your offer. Remember, that's a very important piece to what we're trying to accomplish here. And this is also this map now becomes a foundational resource for your marketing and sales process. Okay. So again, here's my product roadmap, and I'm very clear on the steps of my process and how I walk my clients through this process to build six-figure businesses using Facebook groups. Now, I can use this content here on my sales calls, and I can also pull things out of it to use in my marketing. We're going to show you that a little bit later. So that is the basic idea. Step one is to get super clear and confident around your offer. So again, before I was clear on my offer, I felt like I was literally swimming upstream and I had weights around my ankles. But once I got my offer dialed in, and I became really confident in my offer and the value that I created around it, all of a sudden it was like I was swimming with flippers on and I was going right with the stream, right with the current. So it really is a big deal. And when you finally crack the code on your offer, it's going to be awesome. You're going to feel so great when that happens. Okay. So my marketing after I got clear, it was 100% aligned. All my marketing was 100% aligned with my offer. The leads were now clear on how I could help them, and they knew what I did. I no longer had to waste time or mental energy creating content that wouldn't grow my business, all this fluff content that you shouldn't be posting. I'm consistently now booking 8 to 10 calls each week. And so now my focus is to how can I scale that number so that I can bring on closers and then really take my business to the next level. So I don't have a scarcity mindset anymore. I have an abundant mindset. Calls are abundant. I have these levers that I can always pull if I need appointments. So I know how to get appointments now. I can always book appointments. They're abundant, and I don't feel desperate anymore. Okay. And that's super important. So I'm also very confident on my calls now. Because those calls, I'm just relaxed, and really all those calls are about now, and what they become now is me trying to figure out if I can actually help this person, and if they're a good fit, and if they are, there's a really good chance that they will actually become a client. And now I'm consistently growing my revenue. Now I'm still scared and I'm still stressed out. I'm not going to lie about that, but it's far less than it used to be, and it's about different things. Okay, so the key here, or the takeaway from here, is that you need to really dial in your offer if you're really going to be successful with your business in general, but also with your Facebook group strategy. All right. So now once you've gotten your offer and you're clear on your offer, you've gotten it mapped out, you're going to have a huge relief, and you can kind of put that behind you, and you can focus on growth and monetization. So we actually have a 5-point group monetization checklist that we use on these audit calls and with our clients to help them identify the bottlenecks that they're having right now with their Facebook group and their client acquisition process, and what they can do to get some quick wins as quickly as possible. So one of the questions we always ask ourselves when we bring on new clients is, are they booking enough sales calls? And if they're not booking enough sales calls, is their current Facebook group optimized for booking sales calls? And if not, we can help them install what we call our Group Profits Flywheel system. And this is the 6 methods that we're going to be talking about today to book sales calls from your Facebook group. Now let's actually walk through this system and kind of show you how it works. And then we can, all my animation broke, but we can walk through this anyway. So here's a quick overview. First, I'm going to use my profile, right? My Facebook profile. This is not your business page. We're going to use our Facebook profile to funnel people into our group. And once they join the group, they are presented with several different opportunities now where we can book sales calls. Okay. The first method that we're going to use, or the first opportunity that we have, is with our membership questions. And we're going to actually dig into each one of these different opportunities here in a second, but I just want to kind of give you an overview now. So the first opportunity is our membership questions. Then we're going to use our 2 welcome post strategies, which we'll talk about in a second. And then for the remaining methods, we're going to be generating appointments using content. So specifically, we're going to talk about our live stream events, and we're also going to be talking about 2 different steps, two different types of 2-step posts that can help us generate appointments on demand. So now let's go through each one of these individually, and we'll dig in a little bit deeper on each. And basically what we're doing is we're starting messenger conversations, and then we're booking calls from those messenger conversations, okay? All right, so the first one we're going to talk about is how do we convert brand new members that are coming into our group into easy to close sales calls within the first day or 2 of joining our group. And we do that using the membership questions, or the first method is using the membership questions. So the first method that I use when new members come into our group, they have to answer our membership questions. And here are the exact questions that are in my group right now. So there are a few different strategies on this first question here that you can take. I'm using my first question to help me kind of categorize my members so that I know what phase their Facebook group is in, so I can actually send them more personalized resources, and then also make the DM conversations a lot more personalized and a lot more valuable based on what their current situation is with their group. Now, if you have an appointment setter or somebody to call your leads as they come into the group, you could use this question to capture the new members' phone numbers. So you could have a setter come in, and everybody that drop their phone number in these questions, you could have the setter call those people or text those people within 5 to 10 minutes of joining your group. And that's going to give you some extra booked calls on your calendar. You can also kind of automate a lot of this stuff as well. So that's the first question. The second question, you're typically going to want to capture the email address. So you can offer something, a lead magnet, or as I talk about right here, a free course in exchange for this person's email address. And then once you capture their email address, you could push that into your CRM system. And that's going to give you another channel where you can follow up with those people and try to book calls with them, and then ultimately convert them into clients. So that's the second question. We're trying to capture the email with that second question. This third question I use to just directly ask them if they want to book a sales call. So I basically tell them what we do, try to make it sound as attractive as possible, and then ask them straight up, do you want us to reach out to you and book a call with you to see how this would work for your business? And so about 10 or 15% of the people that answer these questions are going to say yes to this. That's low-hanging fruit people that you can book a call with right there. So that's your first opportunity to book a call, and that's the first method. So they're either going to say yes to that, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to book that call right away, and those book at a pretty high rate. Or if they say no to the call, we can move them on to the next opportunity, the next method for booking calls, okay? So that next method is going to be our 2 welcome post strategies. So welcome post method number 1 is our static welcome post. And everyone that comes into the group, whether they say no to the request to a call or they say yes to the request to the call, they're going to get tagged on this post. And we also do a weekly welcome post that automatically tags all new members that joined that week, okay? So in each of these posts, what we do is we offer a lead magnet, which they can actually get access to if they comment on that post. So that's, first of all, that's generating engagement for the algorithm. And so people can see that there's engagement for the group as well. And it's also getting people to raise their hand and basically tell us that they have a problem that we can help them solve. Again, if we go back to our roadmap, we're asking where that lead magnet is going to be around something that we can help them with. It's a problem that we solve with our offer. So they're raising their hands and saying, hey, I have this problem. And yes, you can reach out to me in Messenger and deliver the lead magnet to them. You can deliver the resource, and then you can take that opportunity, that conversation, and use high converting DM script to transition that conversation into a booked phone call. So that's going to be method number 1 and 2, our static welcome post and our weekly welcome post. So those are the 3 methods that we're going to use to get brand new members to book sales calls. Okay. Now what we're going to do, that we know what we're going to do when new members come into the group, let's talk about how we're going to turn existing members into booked calls. Okay. So now we got some methods for new members. Now we need some methods for the people that have been in our group for a while. All right. So the next 2 strategies you're going to be using, or that you're going to be doing to book calls, is going to be using content. Okay. So I wanted to quickly talk about how we come up with the topics that we create content around. So this is, again, we're going to go back to our product roadmap here, and this is where it comes in really handy. Now, once you have all your product roadmap mapped out, you can start to identify what I call the hot steps in your product roadmap. So these are the steps in your process that you know that you have a good confidence that your ideal customers are very interested in. And this is where knowing your audience is going to be super important. So you really need to know your audience, and then you'll start to understand what topics they're very interested in and that captures their attention. Okay. So for example, from my product roadmap, I know that there's a lot of people struggling with booked calls. That's why you're on this call right now. And they're struggling with, how to reach out to people in the DM to book those calls. So DM outreach is one of my hot steps in my product roadmap, because we have a Facebook Messenger playbook, which is a series of scripts that help people to turn, group members into actual booked calls on their calendar. So I know if I talk about that topic, that people are going to be very interested in it. They're going to be engaged. They're going to watch the live streams, and I can take all that engagement and then I can turn it into DM conversations and then ultimately book calls on the calendar. I also know that content is a huge pain point for a lot of people in my audience. I know that it's a major hot button for the most people, and I've got a super easy way to solve that challenge and help them create content really easy and really fast and really efficiently. So if I talk about that topic, I know I'm going to generate a lot of interest, a lot of engagement, and I can book calls from that. So by identifying these different hot steps, we know exactly what content we're going to be creating. So we're never creating any fluff content. And every single week, we know what we're going to be posting, and there's no guesswork. And I have a 3-post content system that's very easy that we'll be going through in just a second. But first, you got to know what you're going to be posting about. So now that you've got your topics, the first method that I'm going to discuss with using content to book appointments is how to turn your live stream viewers and engagement into booked calls in your calendar. And I'm going to walk you through my 3-post content system I use to consistently fill my calendar with sales calls that are already warmed up and they're easy to close, because basically they're raising their hand and showing me they've got a problem that I can solve. So I actually did a full training on this. So I'm not going to go through this entire process, but I'm just going to do a quick overview and show you the posts in the 3-post content system. Okay. So the first post, I'm going to take a little drink of water here. All right. So post number 1 is going to be the event post. And I use the event post as kind of the main hub to promote my core content training. Because with these event posts, you can actually invite 500 people. You can invite 500 of your group members multiple times a day. I would say about 1,500 a day to your event. Okay. And a certain percentage of those people are going to mark themselves going. They're going to show up and watch the live stream. So I try to get as many people as possible raising their hand, saying they're attending these events, because with my software group Fuel Social, I can actually import all the people that mark themselves as going or maybe into a pipeline, and I can take them through a conversation and a DM script that I have in the system to help me book appointments from that. Okay. So as you can see, here are some more examples of live streams that are events that we've done. Hold on, let's see here. Of some of the events that we've created, and you can see that we get pretty consistent results with these. Okay. And the best part about these numbers is they're going to continue to increase. The more people that join my group, the more of those people I can invite to my events, the more of those people that are going to mark themselves as going, and they're going to attend the lives, and they're going to engage with that content. And now I can start more DM conversations, and I can convert more of those people into booked calls. So as I continue to grow my group, these numbers are going to climb higher and higher. So the next post in our 3-post content system is our 2-step post for promoting the live event that I just showed you in my Facebook group. So if you're not familiar with the 2-step post strategy, this is basically where we create a post with an attractive hook that promotes a lead magnet or a training, or even to work with us directly, and then tell people that they need to comment below if they're interested in whatever we're promoting with that 2-step post. So this is an example of a 2-step post that I posted on my profile for a training I did a couple of weeks ago on how to revive a dead Facebook group. And you can see that this got a lot of engagement, 192 comments. I think it's like 209 now. So I know that, and this topic that I'm promoting and posting about is very aligned with my offer, my Facebook group Profits Mastermind. So these are people that have a dead Facebook group. They're trying to revive it. They're trying to make money from it. So I know if they're interested in this offer and in this two-step, that they are the perfect customer for me. So, excuse me. So all these people are raising their hand. They're telling me they have a problem that I can help them solve. So after the live stream, I can start DM conversations with these people to try to get them on a phone call and then see if we can help them solve their problem faster. So here's some more examples from different two-steps that we've done. And again, you can see that these are pretty consistent results. So there's 96 comments there, 164 there, 71 there, 99 there, 73 comments, 255 comments. And these are all people that are in my target audience. They have problems that I can help them solve. And so these are great people to reach out. These are warm leads that are having the problem that I can solve for them. Okay. So the final post in our 3-post content system is the actual live stream itself. So, and this is the actual, climax to the other 3 posts that we've been posting throughout the week. And we're all trying to get as many other people, commenting on those different posts and driving them to watch this live stream to generate even more engagement, and then transition all of this engagement on all these different posts into DM conversations where we can book phone calls. Okay. So here's some more examples of our live streams that we've done. And again, you can see that this is pretty consistent as well. 76 comments there, 70 comments there, 124 comments there, 124 there, 249 and 127. And you can see that, and the reason that we get a lot of people commenting and watching our live streams is because we do a lot of promotion for those live streams. A lot of people do these live streams, but they just do it in a void. They don't do any promotion for it. And so nobody shows up, nobody ever watches, and they don't get enough engagement. And therefore they can't have DM conversations and book appointments. Okay. So that's our live stream strategy for booking appointments. And now we're going to talk about the final 2 strategies for booking sales calls using your Facebook group. And here are 2 types of posts that you can use if you're starting your week with an empty calendar and you need to book calls fast. So these are going to be great to have in your tool belt if you need to get some quick calls, but you need to be very careful about how you use these particular posts. Okay. So let's get into these real quick. So the first type of post is what's called a direct 2-step post. Now we've talked about the 2-step post strategy a little bit earlier. And this is where you make a post with a powerful hook around something that your audience is highly interested in, that you can actually help them solve. And then the call to action on the post is actually comment below if they want whatever you're promoting in that post. Now, a direct 2-step post is where you're going to actually post something promoting your direct offer. So this is a direct offer to work with you to buy your program. So the people that comment on that post are now showing intent and interest in learning more about your direct offer and what it looks like to actually work with you. Okay. So these are people that are interested in working with you directly. So here's a couple of examples from my 2 steps, my direct 2 steps in my group. And you can see that these direct 2 steps are definitely going to get less engagement because they're, it's further down the funnel than, a lead magnet or a free training. But these are still great leads, and they're very hot leads because now you know that they are actually interested in working with you. So they're easy to get on the phone, but you might want to implement some pre-qualification because you might not want to get on the call with everybody that actually raises their hand for these particular types of posts. So just keep that in mind. So a direct 2-step post, that's our second strategy for booking calls with old members and new members. So the second type of post is what's called a indirect 2-step post. Now, indirect 2-step post is where you're going to be promoting something like a training or a free resource, like a lead magnet, a PDF, SOP, something like that. And the people that comment on this post are actually raising their hand to get the freebie. Okay. So these people need a slightly different approach to actually convert them into sales calls in the DMs because they're not showing direct interest in actually working with you. So you need to have a script in place that helps you to kind of transition the conversation from the lead magnet or the training into jumping on a sales call. But that is easy to do if you have the right actual script in place. So you can see that these definitely get a lot more comments. This one, not so much. That was early on, but this one definitely did really well. And so that's 224 people now that I can reach out to in the DMs to try to convert into sales calls. Okay. Now, I want to say one little thing about these two types of posts. I mentioned you got to be very careful on how you use these posts. So you need to be using these sparingly. So you maybe once, maybe twice a month, you can post these kind of things, especially the direct two-step posts, because there's an idea of what's called pipeline equity. And so this is basically how much goodwill you have built up with your audience. Gary Vee talks a lot about this in his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. So that's the idea that you need to strike a balance between the goodwill you're actually building and creating with your audience and the goodwill that you're actually depleting from your audience. So think about it in terms of deposits and withdrawals. So deposits are where you're actually given a ton of value and you're not really asking anything in return. You're just building goodwill with these types of posts. Withdrawals are where you're actually asking for something, you're making offers. So you're depleting goodwill when you do that. You're actually withdrawing goodwill. So there are two steps that we just talked about are more of a withdrawal type of post. Okay. You're asking something from your audience. You're making an offer. So something more like a live stream where you're just giving a bunch of value, kind of like these, that is going to be more of a deposit. So you need to strike a good balance. You probably need to be giving a lot more value than you do doing two steps. So just think about that, consider that, and think about how many of those two steps you're doing, and don't overdo it, because that's very important. So just be aware of your pipeline equity, and don't make offers all the time. Use them sparingly. Okay. And that is basically it. That's basically our 6 methods for booking sales calls from your Facebook group. Let's review real quick. So you've got your membership questions. Remember, we're basically asking on those questions if they want to book a call directly. About 10 to 15% of the people that say yes to that are going to say yes to that. So you can book calls with that. There's also some strategies where you can actually collect the phone number on that first question. So you can have an appointment setter reach out via text or calling them on the phone and try to get some calls from that. You've got your static welcome post and your weekly welcome post where you can embed like a lead magnet. And then the people that comment on that are raising their hand, showing they're interested in something that you offer. And then you can transition that conversation into a booked call. And then the last 3 we talked about was using different content pieces. One was our 3-post content system for promoting our live stream. So getting as many people engaging on those posts, plus our live stream posts to create more DM conversations where we can transition those into booked calls. And then the final 2 pieces are really something we can use on demand if we need to bring in some appointments really quickly, but you need to be using these sparingly. So that's the indirect 2-step post and the direct 2-step post. So really, if you take these and you start to implement these in your group, I definitely think you will start doubling, even tripling your call flow. So start using some of these techniques. And again, if you liked what you heard on today's training and you want to implement some of these strategies, but you're the type of person that doesn't like to waste time, you don't want to go out there and try to figure it all out yourself, and you want to get results faster, comment audit below, and we'll actually reach out to you. We'll book that audit call. And again, on that call, we're going to take your group, and we're going to look at it against our 5-point checklist, and we're going to see where the bottlenecks are. And then we're going to help you to pinpoint those bottlenecks and your quick win opportunities so that you can start making money with your group as quickly as possible. So if you want one of those calls, drop audit in the comments below, and we'll reach out to you and book one of those calls. All right. With that being said, does anybody have any questions? I'll stick around for a little bit and answer any questions you guys have. Any questions? All right. If there's no questions, I will jump off. Hopefully this was helpful. And I'd love to see you guys start implementing these stuff and share your wins in the group if you guys do. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for showing up. See you guys.